Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about the 4-month sleep regression. Dun dun dun. If I was more fancy, I would have that in the background. Maybe one day I'll get there. Anyways, the 4-month sleep regression. It's awful for many people. Some people are not impacted by the 4-month sleep regression. And if you are in that minority, just be thankful. The majority of babies go through the 4-month sleep regression. The 4-month sleep regression, honestly, I think should be called the 3-month sleep regression because it happens between weeks 12 and 17. So sometimes babies, they turn 3 months and their parents are like, what? Why is their sleep all off? I thought it was supposed to happen at 4 months. Really, it happens anywhere between weeks 12 and 17. Just know that this is normal. When and if your baby goes through the 4-month sleep regression, it's normal. That 4th trimester is ending. They are going from newborn sleep to adult sleep. Tons of stuff is happening in their brains. They are making one of the biggest transitions that they will go through is going from that newborn sleep to that adult sleep. So that's why it's super important that right now at this age, you teach them independent sleep skills because they will have those skills for the rest of their lives. If you continue letting them fall asleep at your breast or with the bottle or rocking them or bouncing them to sleep, it could snowball and it could last literally years. So a lot of parents find that at the 4-month time when they are so sleep deprived and what is happening is no longer sustainable, they decide, I'm ready to sleep train. If your baby is at least 4 months old and 12 pounds, you are able to sleep train. Now, some parents want to keep a middle of the night feed or even 2, and that's fine. Totally fine. You can do that. Today, I'm going to talk about a few things that you can do to make sure that you get through that 4-month sleep regression. The first thing you're going to do is get your baby on a nice feeding schedule with full feeds. Babies who snack and feed on demand throughout the day actually get less milk than those babies who are on that 2 to 3 hour feeding cycle where they're getting full feeds. If your baby can go 3 hours during the day, you know that they can do that then in the middle of the night. So make sure your baby's getting full feeds. At this age, they're going to start getting distracted. So if you need to go into a separate room, pull the shades down, turn on the white noise machine just to eliminate all of the external stimulation happening in the background, do it. Make sure your baby gets a full feed. If they're still falling asleep and really drowsy in the feed, wake them up, burp them in between, change their diaper in between. However you can make sure that they get that full feed, do it. The next thing you're going to want to check is their sleep environment. You are going to make sure that they have blackout shades in their room. It should be so dark they shouldn't even be able to see, or you shouldn't even be able to see your hand in front of your face. Also, make sure you have a white noise machine. The sound is very comforting for babies. I prefer the Hatch sound machine set between 40 and 50% with the TV static. It sounds like this. Super boring. We don't want to play lullaby music because that's really stimulating. So dark shades, white noise. The next thing you're going to make sure that they have their own crib, their own sleeping space. And when you lay them down, you lay them down on their back with nothing else in the crib. Now, what I'm about to say might freak you out. If your baby takes a pacifier, now is the best time to get rid of it. Your baby will not know how to independently put that passy in until they're between like 7 and 9 months. It's a long time. My husband and I got into the dreaded game of passy pong, where we would have to get up out of bed some nights it was every 5 or 10 minutes, and just keep reinserting the passy. It becomes a sleep crutch. It's not sustainable. Get rid of the passy now. I know it sounds scary. If you do it now, don't look back. They could still have it during the day for their wake times if necessary, or the car seat, or during the day, during their wake times, but we do not want to associate the passy with sleep. Okay, so we've talked about the feeding schedule. We've talked about the sleep environment. The next thing I want to talk about is that bedtime routine. You really want to have a solid bedtime routine that you do every single night, because it's going to signal to your baby, oh, now we're starting to wind down. Now it's time for me to put myself to sleep. A typical routine always starts with a feed. You want to start with the feed and not end with the feed, because we want to make sure we're laying the baby down fully awake. And if we delay the feed and have it as that last step, 9 times out of 10, the baby's going to fall asleep. So we want to make sure that we start our routine with the feed. Then some families do a bath every night. We're a bath family every night, but you don't have to take a bath every night. If that doesn't work for your family or your schedule, don't take a bath every night. Lotion, jammies, fresh diapers, sleep sack, lay down awake, say your bedtime phrase, and leave. I want you and all the caretakers to have a bedtime phrase that they say to the baby every time they go down for naps and every time that they go down for nighttime sleep. This is going to signal to your baby, oh, mom's leaving, dad's leaving, I'm going to put myself to sleep. So we want to make sure we have the full feed. We want to make sure we've got a great sleep environment. We want to make sure that we've got that bedtime routine. And then the next thing that we want to make sure, we want to have a consistent daily morning wake up time. Set a time. Typically it's between 6 and 7 a.m. And I want you to wake up your baby at the same exact time every single day. We want to set their internal clock to make sure that we're training their bodies to wake up at a certain time. This will make everybody's life easier. If they're always up at 7, let's say, then that first nap is always at 8:30, or however old your baby is with their wake window. That consistency will pay off, but you have to be consistent. I know for me, I wake up at 5:10 Monday through Friday, and do you think I can wake up past that on the weekends? Nope, my body just automatically wakes up at 5:10. Babies are no different. We want to set that internal clock so we have that consistency there. I know it's going to be hard. If your wake time is 7 a.m. and your baby continuously wakes up at 5:30, if you get them at 5:30 every day, you're reinforcing, oh, 5:30 is your wake up time. We really want to push them to a more reasonable time between 6 and 7. Wake them up at the same time every single day. That last piece is meeting their emotional needs during the day. Sleep training can be emotional, and it can bring out feelings, especially with moms, of feeling like anxious and unsure and worried, and am I doing the right thing? Is this okay that I'm letting them fuss and whine? Can they even do this? Make sure that you fill up their emotional needs during the day, their love tank, so yours is full as well, so you can get through the process. Just the fact that you're watching this video tells me that you care deeply about your baby, and you can do this. Make sure that you feel good, your baby feels good, so you can confidently start sleep training. That's a huge part of this. Research has shown sleep training does not impact attachment. I know there are scary things on the internet that will tell you otherwise, and very strong opinionated people who are saying that sleep training does impact attachment and your baby won't be able to bond with you and all that nonsense. That has been disproven time and time again. Sleep training does not impact attachment. I will say it louder. Sleep training does not impact attachment. Your baby will still be obsessed with you. I promise. I promise. So, to reiterate, to get through the 4-month sleep regression, here are 5 things that I want you to focus on. The first one, I want you to focus on full feeds. Make sure your baby is in a feeding pattern where they're getting fed every 3 hours, full feeds. Number 2, check that sleep environment. Make sure there are blackout shades. Make sure there's white noise. Make sure they're being placed on their back in their crib with nothing else inside. The third one, I want to make sure that you have that bedtime routine down. Do that same monotonous routine every single night. The fourth thing, wake them up at the same time every morning. Start their day. Set their internal clock. Be consistent. And then the last part, number 5, is meeting their emotional needs during the day. Fill up their love tank so yours is full as well. All right, 4-month sleep regression is no joke, but you can get through it. It's a temporary hard, but if you sleep train, it's got long-term benefits that you will be just so glad that you did it. All right, thanks guys.